Welcome, Chhaya ji.
Same here. Thank you so much
to
for
ISP.
having me here.
Yeah. Let me just give you a kind of a very short introduction of Chhaya Sharma ji. Chhaya Sharma ji is an IPS officer of Agmut cadre, currently holding the esteemed position of Special Commissioner of Police Training PHQ at New Delhi. Her career spanning over 2 decades marked a series of significant and impactful roles, including Joint Commissioner of Police for the Eastern Range in Delhi, Director at the Central Vigilance Commission, and Deputy Inspector General of National Human Rights Commission India. Her service record includes posting in diverse regions, especially in Puducherry, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, and Delhi, where she has constantly addressed crime, maintained law and order, and upheld human rights. One of the defining moments of her career was the investigation of the Nirbhaya gang rape and the murder case. As the head of the special investigation team, she meticulously supervised every aspect of investigation, leading to a very swift apprehension of the perpetrators, and her emphasis on the scientific evidence, including the groundbreaking use of the technologies, played a very crucial role in securing convictions. The charge sheet filed in record 18 days successfully withstood judicial scrutiny and resulted in the maximum punishment of the culprits. This has been a path-breaking work that she has done, and I'm really happy as Chhaya ji to have you on board.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So let's start the conversation. You've been an esteemed IPS officer, having about 20 years of experience. But I want to go back a little bit. When we were growing up, tell us about your some of your childhood, memories. Where did you grow up? What has been the family like? And how did you enter a service which is lastly, usually called masculine services?
So I was brought up in Delhi and went to Mater Dei school and then to Delhi University, did my economics graduation. And then for a short period I was interested in doing business. So I did a startup and did business. But my father was a very crucial factor in, moderating my life, and he was like, after my life, that I should get into the civil services and nothing less. So I took a break from what I was doing and I appeared twice for civil services. First attempt I did not get an interview call, but the second attempt I not only got an interview call, I got through. And I was somehow not interested in going for a Indian Foreign Service, so I put my choices as IAS and IPS, and I got my second choice despite getting a very high rank, because that year surprisingly the number of candidates selected became very short. But I still think that a very crucial factor in my trying to attempt that and getting into IPS, the feeling that I would be able to help people and that I would be able to give back to society in a certain way, that really motivated me to continue doing well in my service and to give the proper regard to the service that I had joined.
Yeah, so I'm switching to this Nirbhaya case, which is path-breaking according to us, in not only in terms of the kind of a heinous crime that we've never seen in the history, but also the kind of a fast-track investigation and the catching of the victims. This is all both ways, both from the policing side as well as from the kind of a crime that was committed. It was very unprecedented. So just give us a glimpse, because much of this is in public domain. People know there's a web series, which is, I would request everyone to watch that web series if you have not done that already. Delhi Crime Season 1 is there, which Chhaya ji has been featured. But tell us in terms of couple of things that Nirbhaya case, when you were dealing with it, that you have never dealt in your career before, but it had to be taken up just at this moment of time, and you have to just perform.
Good part was the scientific evidence that we stuck to. From day one, we were very sure that if we are going to stick to the scientific evidence, we are going to ensure that everything is the integrity of the chain of command, of chain of evidence is maintained. Then whatever little bit loopholes we are as normal police officers will leave, they will almost get covered, because that's how the principle of justice will work. Because largely if we have to prove the case, and our purpose was only one, to prove to the court that this incident happened and these are the 6 people who had done it and these were the perpetrators and how they were connected to the bus, how they were connected with each other. And once we'd done that, I think we had made a good case. Now, it was just the sincerity of the whole team and over the years of experience where we were able to take those decisions. CCTVs and all were not many, but incidentally they were there in those places which were, we wanted, where at least one whole stretch of CCTVs was there, but only one CCTV gave us the coverage. And incidentally, I think God was somewhere helping us, because that one CCTV, the CCTV was supposed to cover the porch of the hotels. This CCTV, because of some, I think, wind or something, got tilted, and that's how it covered the bus. Otherwise, they were not facing the road. There is no business for the CCTV to cover the road. It was to cover the porch of the hotel, so that people entering the hotel can be covered, as per the Commonwealth, thing.
So during the investigation, and I know it was very intense, and not only first couple of days that you have to be stationed 24/7, but also afterwards, it has been, the structure of our society is not very conducive to what I would say, kind of bringing justice to the victim, as we understand from outside. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So what was the high point and low point for you during this investigation time?
So talking about the highs and lows. So I'll talk about the lows first. So some of the lows were that we had a lot of media bashing. It's normal. It's sometimes wrong information is shared by the media by other people, and we have to kind of defend it, or kind of sometimes say that, give a different story. But it was, the pace of investigation for us was so fast that we had no time to keep bashing, keep answering the media and all the problems that they created for us. Then we had a parallel case. We had a case of one Ramadhar who had half an hour before had been picked up by these people, same bus, same persons, and beaten up. And then he came to us on 18th morning. Though we registered the case, but it became very difficult for us to explain that why he had never made a PCR call. Then we have this case where the media started naming the victim. So naming the victim while she was alive, or even while she was not alive, but the consent of the parents had to be taken on that. So, but the media went into a frenzy, and the foreign media also jumped in, calling it weird names. So we had to then take a stand. So the high points were also there, that whatever good steps we took, even though they were baby steps and they were forward, we caught all the 6 perpetrators within the 6 days. We cracked the case in 18 hours. We could file the charge sheet, the 54-page charge sheet in 18 days, the first one, and then subsequent charge sheets were also filed.
So now 14 years have passed since the law, since the incidents happened, and I think a lot has changed as well. New policies have been brought in. New Evidence Act has also come in, which considers a lot of things which was flaw in the last Evidence Act, which also been brought in here. So what are things that you think has changed, which is for good, and what are things that you desire it to be changed as a public policy perspective?
I must welcome the new, the change in the new criminal laws, and also just after the Nirbhaya, there was this the 2 commissions, which the Verma Commission and the Usha Mehra Commission, which gave very positive feedback to the government as to what changes need to be brought about. And then they were not only just, they were told, but we had a person telling us in the class also that a lot of things changed. In same, the use of the tinted glass got removed, driver's address and the name and the owner boldly was written on the bus. So a lot of changes were brought about. Similarly, in terms of women's security, the Nirbhaya Fund was created. And similarly, there was a thought process that yes, we have to now think of how we should make public places safe for women. And then there was this criminal amendment law in 2013, which brought about a sea change in a lot of things like the POSH Act and everything, because now even staring at a person or stalking became a serious criminal offense, whereas earlier it was not. So there was a sea change, and there was also change in the thought process of people, where earlier people would say, "Arey, don't go and complain to the police." They say, "No, go. We are coming with you. We'll fight it out." So the aggression, we saw a rise in the cases because of the people willing to come forward. Now, of course, there are false cases also. I will not deny that. But then the good part was that zero FIR was implemented. It was also that there was a section called 166A, which got incorporated, which is now also present in the new law, which said that if a police officer did not take action, he can also be charged criminally if a woman complains of sexual assault. So these are very, important things where not only the system was made to respond, but also make conducive for women, things conducive. Now, how far it got successful or not was a different thing. And now we have the new laws, which are actually, when we are talking of, recording evidence of women who have been sexually assaulted. Now they're asking for, if a woman wants that her statement be video recorded, then it will be video recorded. So there are a lot of the changes which have now been brought in the new criminal laws, which were earlier either part of a small judgment or something else, but now have been part of the statute.
True.
So these are good. And then, even if a woman says, my statement needs to be recorded while I'm at home, so the person will have to go home and record it. It will always be a woman who will be dealing with a women crime. So other things which were earlier part of court orders now became statute.
Right.
And that is a very big shift, because when it becomes statute, there is no question of not following the rule of law. That is very important.
But as public policy professionals, also when I teach gender issues in the class, one issue which comes up very strongly is that Nirbhaya fund, which was actually it's a huge fund which has been given to bring in women's safety in public spaces, hasn't been utilized very well, or states are not claiming it sometime. What has been your views and experience on this?
There has been effort on the part of the central government to not only create the thing, that they kept their word, and also their effort in terms of disbursing the same thing. But maybe there has been a lack of interest in the policy of the state governments and how they would utilize this fund. So they are not being able to claim it, and they're not being able to send the correct proposals to the center so that it fulfills that criteria for which the Nirbhaya fund was created. So maybe there is a gap there, and I feel that the center should take a very proactive step and make sure that whatever they decide can be done for women empowerment or for women's safety, they should take a lead in that. And a lot of things are being done already, and there are a lot of cases, like even for trafficking and for other cases, sometimes there have been demands for strengthening of police stations and setting up of all women police stations, and so for the Nirbhaya fund is also being utilized there. But I still feel that there has to be consensus between the states and the center, and also policing being a state subject, so there is a little bit of dichotomy. The center would be difficult for center to kind of push it across, as something that they would want. But I still feel that women's safety is a common thing. The platform may be different. It could be center, it could be state, but the issue remains the same. So for me, it is that something like, what are the issues? Like, for example, public places being made more safe, lesser dark spaces, more electricity in places which are dark alleys, more buses which have a CCTV coverage, more buses which have an all-woman public bus being run. So now you have metros, which have a whole compartment which is this thing. But still, I think, night travel is an issue. Delhi PCR has offered this, that if after 9 p.m. you are uncomfortable and you're not finding a safe this thing, so if you make a 100 number call or a 112 number call, they will answer your call and they will drop you to your safe this thing. So, but this is like, they can be standalone, things. But I think there has to be a proactive effort where we have to make sure that it should not be vendor driven. It should be, women should be asked, what do you want for your safety? And then maybe something has to be, because it is the client, the women, the 50% of our population, which should be able to decide that what do they consider safe, and that should be the motivating goal for the Nirbhaya fund.
That's a wonderful message actually you're giving to all of us, including men out there, to work towards women's safety. It's not only women's responsibility, I think it's also men's responsibility to have safer spaces for all of us.
One last thing I'd like to mention.
Yes, absolutely.
I just really feel that instead of also focusing on only women, we should also have a battery of men. I mean, it's high time such men who are seen as promoting women's rights and women issues must get highlighted, and not only highlighted, their thoughts on women's safety should also be taken into view, because they are the best judge. They are responsible for their gender. They are also understanding the issues which their gender which is not performing well for women, but they would also be a deciding factor in judging that what can be considered safe, because they are very responsible for the women in their lives. So they can also be taken into account, and a very thoughtful action can be taken. So I think this tribe of men who think positively for women, who promote women, who support and buttress the women in their performance, I think their thought should be taken into view.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful note to end, Chhaya ji, and wonderful to have you again on our session here, as well as this policy talk that we have initiated. Thank you so much for coming to
Pleasure is
ISB.
entirely
And thank
mine,
you so
sir.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.